Hi everyone, this is Jade from Sweet Softies, and I'm really excited to share with you my video tutorial on the Baby Turban Hat with bows. And here, as you can see, I have these different turban hats, and they're all going to be written patterns free on my blog if you'd like to check that out. I will be showing you how to make this type with the bow, and it's a super quick, easy project to do. I wanted to share with you my third turban hat as well, just as inspiration for another idea if you'd like. You can use bows, or you can even use buttons, a flower applique, other types of embellishments, or you can not use a bow too, and it'll be super cute. So here, for example, let me just take the bow off. I didn't sew this one on so that you can see what the turban looks like without a bow. And as you can see, there's a cute little pinch here, and the hat looks great without any extra embellishments as well. So it's completely up to you as to whether or not you want to or how you want to decorate it in the end. And I'll be showing you how to make both the base of the hat and also the bow if you want to add that on. Now I do want to mention that in this tutorial I'll be showing you exactly how to make this pink hat. The yellow and pink hat are almost completely identical. The only difference is how I've made the body rows of the hat here. And the difference is that I crocheted in back loops only all the way through here, whereas on this pink hat I did alternating back loops, back loop, front loop rows. So since this hat's a little bit more like it provides more of that texture and these cool little like ribs, I'll be showing you how to do that in this video. But again, you can also use this video to make the yellow hat as well. Just remember to continue with back loops only. Now, one thing I want to mention is that if you like to crochet this hat in particular, I used velvety yarn, specifically Lion Brand yarn, the Velux yarn that they have, and it was really smooth, soft, and fun to work with. And if you're using velvet yarn, I definitely recommend going with this pattern, doing back loops only for those rows, because it's a lot for the velvety yarn, you don't see as much of that texture. But if you're using regular, like let's say acrylic yarn, like I used a Red Heart Love yarn here for this hat, you'll see a lot more of that stitch definition. So if you use this kind of ribbed pattern, you'll see that it shows up a lot more clearly. So I definitely recommend that if you're using acrylic yarn and if you want to have this cool ribbed look, go with this pattern. So yeah, up to you. Now, these would be absolutely adorable gifts for newborn babies or for baby showers. And they're also super cute to make and sell at craft fairs. And you'll have a lot of fun making them because they're so quick and so easy to make, and you can also easily adapt it to a lot of different sizes, as I'll explain in the video while making this one right here. Alright, so for materials, what you'll need is yarn, of course. Use medium weight 4 yarn. I used, again, Lion Brand Velux yarn here. And for this one, I'm using Red Heart Love yarn, which is pretty soft and feels nice too. For your crochet hook, you'll be using a 5mm hook. And if you would also like as well, I find that yarn needles are very handy tools to have to weave in the ends and to use for sewing things like bows on. So we'll be using a yarn needle and of course scissors for fastening off. All right, so let's get started. Alright, so let's get started. You're first going to start off with round 1. We're going to have a magic ring to begin. So curl it around your finger. Insert your hook. And what you're going to do is chain 2. And then insert 10 half double crochets into your magic ring. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, after you've got 10 half double crochets in your magic ring, we're going to pull that tail in closed. So see how the ring is cinched together? After that, take your hook and you're going to close up this round with a slip stitch in the very first half double crochet. So you're going to do that each time you join the ends. So join to the top of the first half double crochet with a slip stitch. And that's it for round 1. For round 2, you're going to chain 2 to start. Then you're going to increase all around. So we're going to continue with half double crochet as our stitch here. So I'm going to increase by putting 2 half double crochets in that very first stitch. It's the same stitch as your chain 2, by the way, so don't skip ahead. And then in the next stitch, again, increase with the half double crochet, increase. And continue on with half double crochet increases. So at the end of your round here, again, you're going to join, insert your hook into that very first half double crochet that you made, and join with a slip stitch. There we go. So that's it for round 2. I'm just gonna, you see my ring here kind of got bigger as I was working around, so I'm just gonna cinch it closed again. Now for round 3, we're going to chain 2 to start, and for this time you're going to do 1 half double crochet and then increase 1, increase 1, increase all the way around. So in that last round we increased all the way around for 20 stitches. Now we're going to have 30 stitches total in round 2. I'm sorry, 30 stitches total in round 3, excuse me. So let me show you the first several repetitions. You're going to half double crochet 1 and then increase. Remember, increase means 2 stitches in each stitch. So again, 1 and then increase. One and then increase. And you're going to do this all the way around. And what it's going to look like as we make the circle larger is this is going to actually be the base of your hat. So you can easily adjust this pattern to fit different sizes. You can fit newborn heads or 0 to 3 months, and you can make it even wider to fit, you know, like 9-month, 12-month-old child, or larger to fit your own head if you want, as long as you keep increasing in this manner. So for the next couple rounds, and just to let you know, for all my video tutorials, I have the written pattern on my blog. So it's really helpful if you use the written pattern to follow along with the different row counts and the steps, just so it's having something. I feel like written prompts are much easier to have alongside video ones. But for round 4, we're going to kind of increase in the same way. This time, instead of 1 and then increase, we're going to do 2 and then increase. 2 stitches, increase all the way around. So I'll show you that one. For round 4, again, chain 2. All right, so for the first stitch, half double crochet. Oops. Second stitch, half double crochet, and then increase. You probably noticed the pattern by now. Increase, 1 stitch, increase, 2 stitches, and then increase. Next one's going to be 3 stitches and then increase. So again, you can make your hat larger, smaller, based on how many increases you want to go. All right, so let's do a couple more repetitions. 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, increase. Half double crochet, half double crochet, increase. Half double crochet, half double crochet, increase. All right, easy peasy, right? So we're going to work our way around. Remember to join, and we'll meet back for row 5. All right, so here I am, having just finished round 4. And I'm going, oh, sorry, not quite yet. I'm going to join to finish round 4 here. And now for round 5, what you're going to do is chain 2. And yep, you guessed it, 3 half double crochets first, then increase. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3, and then increase. You're going to do that around. I'll show you one more time. 1, 2, 3 half double crochets. Next stitch, increase by putting 2 together. There we go. So I'm going to work around for round 5, and we'll meet back when round 5 is finished. Alright, now with round 5 complete, you'll see that you'll have 50 stitches for round 5, and for round 6, all you're going to do is chain 2 to start, and then half double crochet around. So that's just 1 half double crochet in each stitch. It's going to look like this. 1 half double crochet, move on to the next stitch. 1 half double crochet, move on. So you're just putting 1 in each here. So at the end of round 6, you should have 50 stitches, just like in round 5. We're not increasing anymore, we're not changing the number of stitches. we're just going to keep going with the width of the hat. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this hat is really easy to adjust for size because you can, oh wow, the sun came out. You can go ahead and make it as wide as you want. You don't have to worry too much about your stitch count. Like if you make it, let's say, going up to 60 stitches or 70 or 80 stitches instead of the 50 I have here, you can not worry about your stitch count afterwards because we're just going to be working with pretty much the same number of stitches as what you made in your last increase row. So pretty easy to figure out here. You don't have to do any funky math if you want to make this hat larger than mine. And we'll meet back again so that you're not super bored with watching me just make half double crochets. We'll meet back again when I'm finished with round 6. Alright, so I just finished round 6 here with half double crochets just all the way around. For the consequent rounds, this part's going to be pretty fun, I think. You're going to create some cool texture, and I'm actually going to play around with that a bit for this pattern. I've decided to make it a little different from the velvety hat pattern I have here. So, but it's going to be pretty much, well, let me explain it really quick. For the velvet hat, I pretty much worked starting from round 7 and after in back loops only. For this hat, I'm going to change it up by doing a round of back loops only and then front loops only. So you can use this video to still understand how to make the velvet hat. Just make sure you follow the written pattern exactly on my website and do back loops only if you'd like it to look just like this. If not, and you like the look of this one more when it's finished, then try this one. So let me show you how to get started. For round 7, you're going to chain 2, and then we're going to work entirely in back loops only for this round. So what that means is you're going to insert your hook into this back loop of the stitch. If you're curious as to how to work in back loops only, I'm going to include a more detailed tutorial on that in my description box. So check that out for working in back loops only. Very briefly here, just for the purposes of this explanation video, right now I've inserted my hook into both stitches or both loops for a regular stitch. And what I mean by back loop only is instead of working through both, you're going to work in only this loop in the back. This loop up here is the front loop. So we're working in the back loop for this round. So I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop, work a half double crochet, insert into the back loop, work a half double crochet. And you're going to keep doing that all the way around in back loops only for round 7. As you work, you're going to notice that your piece is going to create this interesting little ridge here. And that's what happens when you work in back loops only. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this round and we'll meet back for round 8. Alright, so I have just finished with round 7, and in round 7 I worked in back loops only. As you can see, there's that cool ridge that comes out of working in back loops only. Now for round 8, what you're going to do is start off with the chain 2, and this time, instead of working in the back loops, work in the front loops only. So you're going to insert your hook into that front loop up here, closer to you, and make a half double crochet. So you're going to insert your hook into the front loop, half double crochet. You're going to do that all the way around this entire round, like so. So you will notice that as you're working, it creates a little bit of like a ribbed pattern, and you're going to do that all the way around for round 8. All right, so we'll meet back again when round 8 is complete. All right, so we're meeting back here after round 8 is complete. As you can see, I've crocheted the front loops only all the way around, and together this back loop only and front loop only combination makes kind of this nice ribbing. Now for the next few rows, what you're going to do is repeat these two. So you're going to do back loops only all the way around, join, and then the following one, front loops only all the way around and join. So check out the written pattern on my blog to see the exact instructions if you'd like to keep track of the round you're on, and the instructions for those. But as a general rule of thumb, it's just back loops only, front loops only, back loops only, front loops only. So I'll do a few stitches here for round 9. Back loops only. Oops. 1, 2, 3. If you're wanting to work off the pattern for my other hat, very similar hat here, instead of alternating back loops and front loops, you're only doing back loops for the yellow one right there. And for this pink one, well, I wanted to have some fun with it while I was showing you, and got the idea to try out using both front loop and back loop stitches together. Sorry, and I'm having a little bit of trouble here because the yarn's a little splitty for me. Okay, there we go. Oop. Yeah, I'm not exactly graceful in this in this sitting stance right now. I'm trying to hold my arms out a little farther so that the camera can see it okay. Oh no, it's split again. Okay, there we go. All right, so I did a little bit here to show you, but again, you're going to see this cool ridge that you create using the back loop only technique. So keep going with this alternating back loops only row and then front loops only row, okay? All right, so I just finished round 13 of my pattern. As you can see, I've alternated the back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop rounds. And now I have a back loop round. And now for the very last round, you want to end with a front loop only round. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you how to make that cool pinch in the hat in this very final round too. So first you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to, in the front loops only, half double crochet all the way around to the halfway point of the hat. So that's going to be around 25 half double crochets since we have 50 stitches. So here I am, I'm going to half double crochet 25. That's 1, 2, and just as a note, if you made your hat, like let's say the increased part larger to fit a bigger baby's head or a small child's head, what you're going to do is just find the midpoint. You don't have to, don't go to 25 half double crochets if you have like, let's say 60 stitches, you're going to go to about 30, or if you have like 80 stitches, go to about 40. You're basically just finding the halfway point of the hat. So, and the reason why we want to do that is because we've got this seam going on in the back, and we want that to remain in the back of the hat. So I'm going to half double crochet in the front loops only here until I reach the midpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. 10, 11, 12. Alright, so I've got my 25 stitches now, and as you can see, if I fold the hat in half, it lines up to the midpoint of my hat. And here's going to be the magical fun part. You're going to take your hook, you're going to go up to that very first, you see that very first ridge of back loops only? That's between well, if you followed my stitch count exactly, that's going to be between round 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right at that first, I guess the first back loops only ridge, that's where you want to go. So I'm going to find the corresponding stitch on this round. And to do that, an easy way is to just kind of fold your hat in half. Let me just demonstrate here. And I can see that the corresponding stitch is about here. Let me just stick my hook in right there. Okay, so that's what I want to aim for this next part. So gotta remember where that is. Okay, so with your hook, you're going to go into that stitch right here. Let me pull that. And you're going to make a single crochet. So I'm going to pull this yarn in, pull it tight, and make your single crochet. As you do that, you create a pinch in the fabric, like so, making it look like a turban shape. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so after you make that half double crochet, what you're going to do is just half double I'm sorry, after you make that single crochet, let's back up a bit. So in this stitch needs to be a single crochet. That's like the only single crochet stitch you ever do in this entire hat pattern, because we've done half double crochets all the way through. So this is our one and only single crochet, super special because it kind of cinches up our hat like that. And now what you're going to do is find that next stitch and make a half double crochet. So, oh, there we go. Oh, remember to stay in front loops only. So let me try that. 1, 2, okay. And then keep going in front loops only until you reach the end of the round. I'm actually quite liking that I've chosen to do alternating back loops and front loops for this hat, because compared to the velvet yarn, this regular type of yarn that you probably see more often and have at home more often is like it provides more of a stitch definition, so you'll notice the texture a lot more. It's much easier to see the front loop only, back loop only pattern. So I recommend that if you're using this type of yarn to crochet a baby hat, a turban hat, that you use this pattern to create this kind of nice accordion looking style. Otherwise, the other one, let me pull that up again. The other one is smoother. So maybe if you like that, then go ahead with that too. It's all personal preference. I just think this texture looks really neat. Okay, so at the end of the round, you're going to just slip stitch to join, and then you get to weave in your ends. So I'll go ahead and cut that. Okay. And later you can get a smaller crochet hook or yarn needle to just weave that in. As you can see, you've got also your little yarn end for the magic or the starting yarn tail to pull in, and you're going to weave in those ends too on the inside of the cap. But there you have it. So you've got this cool again, like these cool ribbed lines going on over here. I definitely like this choice a lot, and I'm glad I went with it for the video, even though that was kind of experimental here. But again, if you want to make this smoother look, it's so easy to do too, because just back loop only all the way across instead of alternating back loops, front loops, back loop, front loop. All right. So that's that for the hat. Same size, awesome. Okay, this last part I'm going to show you is how to make the cute little bow. And this part's optional, of course, if you want to add something else like a flower or a button or leave it as is. That is totally awesome too. But if you want a bow, stay tuned for this next part. Alright, for the bow, which is actually super duper easy, you're going to start off by making a chain. And I'm going to chain, let me think. For this yellow bow, I chained 24. It's up to you as to how big you want your bow or how long you want your bow to be. Let me go ahead and make a chain of 24 first and see if that's what I want to go with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, oops, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, so what you're going to do to see how large it is to just fold it in half, because your bow is actually double-sided here. Fold it in half and see how it measures up with your hat. You know, I kind of want to go a little more dramatic here. I want a larger bow for this hat. So I'm going to do, let's do 30 then. So I'll add 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is how long a 30 chain bow would be. Now, once you're happy with how long your chain is, go ahead and make sure your work's not twisted. Insert your hook into that first chain. Make a slip stitch to join. Chain 2 and half double crochet around. And guess what? It's pretty much just that for the next few rounds. You're also going to just join, chain 2, half double crochet all the way around. The reason I'm using half double crochets instead of other stitches, if you're wondering, is because recently I really like the look of them. I feel that double crochets for baby hats tend to provide too much of a gap, and it doesn't look as closely tied together, in my opinion. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but it seems a little bit too loose, a bit sloppy, so I like to do half double crochets with these baby hats. Single crochets, on the other hand, are getting a little too small, and when you do single crochets, they tend to come together as a pretty solid and tight project. Unless you use a large hook, but then that would provide lots of gaps in between. So I just like to go through that route of moderation and choose half double crochets. Oops. All right, and making bows is one of my favorite parts because they're so cute, and cinching them up at the end, kind of like this hat too, is so much fun. All right, so I'm coming to the end here, last stitch. When you get to the end, just join with a slip stitch to your first half double crochet, chain 2, and then you're going to keep doing the same. So I want you to make your bow as high, or as the height, as high as you'd like it to be. Totally up to you. For this bow here, I did 5 rounds total, so that includes a chain round and then 4 of those half double crochet rounds. Feel free to do that. Feel free to make it larger, wider, more dramatic, however you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more rounds, and we'll meet back when that part is done. Alright, so here I have my rounds done. I went up to 5 rounds of the half double crochet. It'd be 6 rounds total, including the first chaining round. So with that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've decided I like my bow to be around that tall. I don't want to make it any bigger because I think that would overwhelm my hat. But go ahead and see how you want your bow to look, because you don't have to follow my size exactly. As you can see, I did make it one round larger than the my velvet bow here, so it's going to turn out to be bigger than this for sure. So now, when you're satisfied with the height of your bow, go ahead and fasten off, and when you do so, fasten off with a very long tail. And the reason for that is because you're going to cinch the middle of your bow closed, so make sure you give yourself a generous amount of yarn. I'm just going to, I think this would be a good amount, so I'll snip it right here, and gotta pull that all the way through. All right, so for this part, really quick and easy, find the midpoint of your bow. So if you want to be a perfectionist about it, go ahead and fold it in half to find exactly where that might be. And you're going to wrap around your bow many, many times. So I'm going to pull that really tightly and then wrap. At first, it might be kind of tough with the first several rounds, but then just try your best to hold on tightly to the yarn. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment here and see how that's looking. You can also make the center of your bow as wide or as, go ahead and wrap as many times as you want. There's no hard and fast rule here, so just do what brings you joy. All right, so I think that brings me joy. Okay, so now that you're done wrapping, you kind of finish off by taking this yarn end, and you're going to hide it behind in the back of the bow. Just weave it through those ends, and I'm actually going to grab a yarn needle for that because I find that to be easier. By the way, if you're wondering about the materials that I use, you can always check my blog post with the written pattern. I have all the materials linked there for you to find and get as well if you're interested in some of these things. All right, so I'm going to take this end, put it through my yarn needle. Oops. Yeah, that was kind of ambitious. There we go. All right, so taking this yarn end and, hold on, what happened there? Let me, okay, I want to make sure it looks even. Let me go ahead and pull that through. So I'm going to kind of pull it through some of the other wrapped yarn here. All right, there we go. And if you're wondering what this is the beginning yarn tail that I made when I started. So you can go ahead and either leave that in, or I like to use this to sew to the hat portion, which is much easier for me. So just to have two yarn tails instead of one, because I can tie it tightly in the back. So after you're done with tucking your tail end in, take your bow, kind of adjust it, make it pretty. All right, take your hat, you get to put it right on, and all you have to do is sew your bow onto your hat. I'm just pulling through the yarn ends, through here, getting that first tail out of the way, and then I'll stick the next one in. All right. And you want to make sure the bow is balanced and centered at the in the very middle of the hat. So I'm just going to pull it back a bit to see where my needle's coming through. Alright, and at this final part, I want my tail ends, both of them here, to kind of just meet so that it's easy for me to tie it off. So I've made sure that the bow is sturdy on the hat, and then this last part I just easily tie my ends together tightly and securely. And I can cut the yarn and fasten off. Alright, there we have it. So here is the baby turban hat. I like to position it so that this is the magic ring that we started with. I don't quite like that at the very top of the head. I usually like that to be further down the back of the head, sorry. So I fold it up just a bit and push the hat up like that, and there. All right, so that's that for the baby turban hat with a bow. As you can see, it required really simple stitches, practically just half double crochets all the way around. You also use the chain, the slip stitch, one single crochet, and you need to know how to increase, which is 2 stitches and 1 stitch, and do back loops and front loops. So that's that, super easy peasy. If you like that pattern, go ahead and check it out on my blog. I have the written pattern up for free there. If you'd like to support me in my designs or want a print-friendly, ad-free PDF pattern so that you don't have to sit at your computer or device and work with a screen in front of you, you can get the PDF file for a very low cost on my Ravelry or Etsy stores. And again, I have 2 different versions, one with more of the ridges and texture, one that's more smooth. Both come with cute little bow patterns as well. Let me put that this way. So up to you as to which one you'd like to try out. Do one or both. I'm sure your baby girl will love it. So thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful time crocheting. Bye now.